Hi everybody, how are you doing? Welcome to Thursday and another exciting instalment for Cake Stuff. I hope you're excited as well. So I'm just going to let a few people join us here. So I can see we've got 50 people have joined us, that's amazing. So thank you so much for taking your time out of a Thursday afternoon to come and join us while we basically launch two brand new stencils that I've been working on. You have seen them over the last couple of weeks, but this is the actual official launch and they're live right now on Cake Stuff, so you can head over and purchase either of these. This is the, oh, I watched myself backwards. This is the full one and this is the side element one here. So I'm going to show you some tricks with these. So, and you can see here, this is my new display cake for the side one. Because as you know, I did a little bit of watercolour, was it 2 weeks ago? And I was testing out my stencil to make sure that it was absolutely perfect before it went into production. So I tested it on the blue cake, and to be honest, it's not my favourite that I've done. So it's this little guy here. It's not exactly fair to tell it. It's plain second fiddle to this one, but you get to see the pattern, so I thought it was fine to show. However, I'm much happier with this one being the face of the stencil. So I am going to be showing you a couple of ways how I've done this stencil. We're going to go over the stencil basics again. For me, I need to give you the full picture rather than just saying, well, you can just whap this on and that's fine. For this one, I actually wrapped round. However, what I'm going to show you today is actually the panel method again, because I got a lot of questions afterwards. Can you use the panel method on, say, a ganache cake, etc., and what would you do? Would you cover it first? What would you do? So I've actually got a dummy cake that's got nothing on it. We're going to do the panel method where you can see I'm going to do the top first and then we're going to stencil and then wrap that round so that you can see how that would look. I just realised I've left my smoothers over the other side here, so we'll just see what I've got available to hand. But this will be funny, but it'll work, it'll be fine. Right, okay, so this is what we're going to do. I'm just going to move this bad boy out the way a little second before I knock it over, because that would be tragic. But I have taken some lovely photographs. Okay, so let me just, if anybody has seen captions and you don't want captions, you can actually go to the three dots above and swipe them away. Because with a Scottish accent, you never know what's going to come out of on those captions, and it's really not the way it's said. Okay, I'm just going to go and give a wee shout out to some of the people that have joined us today. We've got Jackie, hiya, how you doing? We've got Neen, we've got Barbara, Claire, Linda, Sylvia, and Jackie's super keen. She says, is the stencil available to purchase now? Yes, it is. Go for it. We would absolutely love you to buy it. But who else we've got? We've got Sharon here as well. Hi Sharon, Julie, we've got Tina, Zelda, Fiona. Hi there Fiona, all the way from the lovely Skye, Juliet as well, and Julie. Oh my goodness, we've got so many lovely, amazing people here. So thank you so much for taking your time out of your Thursday to come and join us, so you can see this tutorial. Hi Kerry, how are you doing? And also one of the other questions that I got as well was, could you use just masa and couture to do the wrap? And the answer is, in my opinion, no. It was a little bit of a stress. However, I have actually mixed in eleganza to that mix, so that will help reduce the cost overall, basically, if you're mixing them all together. But for me personally, I prefer just to go straight ahead and use eleganza, because then I know that it's an easy job, straight on. And the reason that it's a little bit tricky is because we're lifting up a weight of fondant to wrap round. You can do the roll method as well, but I just find that I quite like the actual just wrap method. Each to their own, so you have to do what works for you, but all of those will work fine. Let's see, hi Samina, and we have Joanne as well. Oh, Joanne says she's looking forward to this. Thank you so much. It's just so nice to see you all here. Hi Sarah, how are you doing? Sarah's asking, is Timmy watching? Do you know, I haven't seen Timmy yet. Maybe she's a wee bit late. So Timmy, wherever you are, we're expecting you in here watching. So I'm just going to go from the above just now, just so you can see these. Oh, what have I done? Hang on. Hello. Right, okay. Technology at its best right there. So this one is a side design, so it's a bit easier if I actually show you how it looks. So it's got a couple of elements to it. It's got these lovely side designs here, so you can do your own thing. And one of the cakes that I've actually done previously, actually I did a little bit of manipulating of this big full stencil because I didn't have this one at the point, which is why I wanted the side design stencil not just to have a side design, but to also have these elements so that you can mix and match. Now of course for me, I really wanted the side element, and when you see the cake, when you see the photographs of it, you can see how beautiful it is and the flow of it. And there's so many things that you can actually do with this. So for instance, I'm going to show you how I've already stenciled one half of it. I've stenciled it on this side. Now I'm going to re-stencil the other side with the other side of the pattern, so that could actually be a central point going around your cake or on the side bias, but it means that all sides have got a little bit of stencil detail on there, which is just really, really lovely, especially if you've got a wedding cake that's got a 360 room. So when you go all the way around your cake, you're always going to get a good angle. So what I'll do is I'll just quickly run over and grab the tier that I was talking about. This is the beauty of doing lives in your own studio because you've got your stuff. Right, so this one here, it's a little bit difficult to see just with the lighting, but it was literally the big stencil just put on and stenciled round, and then I've added a little bit of these gorgeous wafer paper details, which we're going to do a little of today as well, just because it's such a lovely detail, and it's just going to add a wee bit extra to your cakes. So you've got your options there. So let me just come back to the front. So we are going to do things a little bit backwards. We're going to stencil the stencil, stencil the stencil. We're going to stencil the wrap first, so that that section can dry while we do the top end of the dummy tier, just so that we can basically allow that to dry so that I don't actually put my hands in it this time. However, on this cake here, I actually wrapped the stencil round, and I used this stuff that I call stencil grabber. It's a little bit like, it's like sticky bandage stuff that sticks to itself. This is perfectly sized for fitting through these little lines on the side here, which means you can pop that through. Some of you might have seen this demo at Cake International, and what I do is I use a bulldog clip on that end and wrap it round the cake and stick it down. However, you will notice, like with some of these stencils, not just mine, with any ones that are intricate and any ones that's got like kind of smaller detail, you'll find that some of the little bits pop out. It's just the way the stencil is. If it's nice and flat, no bother. The panel method is your friend. However, when it's wrapped round, it will poke out a little bit. So I've been using this technique. So this is like a well-known technique that was first sort of introduced to us by Evil Cake Genius, the geniuses that they are. So this gets wrapped around your cake, and it literally holds down all those little pokey out bits that really could ruin your cake. Because if those pokey out bits stick out and you go ahead and add your royal icing, if you don't scrape it in the right way, your royal icing goes behind, and that is game over, and it's tears time. At least if you screw up on a wrap, all you need to do is just turn it over, stencil the other side, and then wrap it again, and no one need know. And the amount of times I've screwed up, well, that's how I know it works. Okay, so that's what these lines are on the side, and also you've got little holes for pins. Now those pins must be sterilised. If you're going to put a pin into a cake, you need to make sure you count how many pins you use to begin with. You need to locate them at the end as well. You cannot send out a cake where you don't know if you've got all your pins back, and you need to sterilise. It's just safety first and all of that. Okay, so we are going to stencil. I'll get rid of this because we don't need it. And what am I looking for? Oh yeah, so what I've used today, let me just go to the side, hopefully this is going to line up. I've used Squire's Kitchen Royal Icing, and I've also added in Super Duper Whitener. This is another trick from ECG. So basically this is brilliant, and it's the same if you wanted to whiten up, say, buttercream or anything that's got like a kind of yellowy tinge, you can put the whitener in, and that's basically going to give you a kind of base to like make it more whiter, or a base to add colour on top so that nothing's bleached out. So again, that's another kind of well-known sort of trick that you can use. So that's what I've done. I've gone ahead, I've just made up the royal icing as per instructions. Only thing as I do is I add in just a little bit of less water than what's recommended, because I want a little bit of a thicker stock. I like to call it a stock. because then I can do stuff with that. If it's too wet, then again, I've just wasted a nice big batch of royal icing, and I tend to make up 500 grams at a time, and that gives me time to play with it. I can do a couple of cakes with it. I can actually glue the cakes together with the royal icing as well. I can pipe with it. Because I've got it thick to start with, I can water it down, and then I can go ahead and use it for pipe work on cakes. You can use it for brush embroidery. You can use it for dot work. Again, it needs to be heavy at the start to allow you to do those things, because each of those methods require different amounts of water. So therefore, you're in control. If you add the whitener, it gets thicker. So by default, you need to add some more liquid to that. That could be in the form of adding things like gel colour. You can add things like the liquid colours as well, but just a touch, because the liquid colour is going to act like water. So just be careful with the amount of liquids that you're adding. That's all I'm trying to say. Okay, so let me just bring this over. Let me go back from above. Right, so I've already stenciled half of it. This time I didn't put my hand in it, but I'm just going to move this over. But what I did do, very naughtily, was I left a little bit of royal icing stain on the other side. So this is a little bit of a warning here. If you do use the super duper whitener or any whitener in your royal icing, it now becomes like a stain. Like you'll see it stain my hands. Everything you touch, if it's wet, will stain it. So it is not easy to get off once it's on. You actually have to do a little bit of knife work just to like scrape that down. However, I managed to catch it before it dried in too much, and basically buffed that bad boy right down, so that you cannot see. Oh, look at that, we've got somebody here. Wait, I just seen it. Fiona says she's just bought them. Thank you so much. That's incredible. Oh, thank you. Really, really pleased. Right, I hope you got on really well. That means the pressure's on. Fiona, we need to see your work. Okay, so I'm going to tell you how I made this colour. So this is actually just using, so as I say, I've got a blend in here. I've got a little bit of eleganza, but mixed with 50-50 massa and couture, because I wanted to test it out for everybody that was asking. When I just did the massa and the couture on its own, I couldn't lift it. Like basically I've got a sheet out, and when I was lifting it over, I felt it was a little bit stretching too much. My fingers were going through. So by adding in the eleganza, I've now got the strength that I really need. But this isn't 100% eleganza, so it's going to work out a cheaper option. However, I can feel it starting to crust up already. So it's playing the game here. You don't leave it lying out uncovered while you go away and have your lunch. Just make sure you're going straight in. Okay, so what I did was just plain white, and I added in a tiny touch of Pro Gel navy blue into a little blob. This is how I colour up things, lighter tones. I just took, I'm talking the smallest amount of, into probably about a kilo of mixed in massa, couture and eleganza, and that was enough to colour this beautiful sort of, it's almost like a duck egg blue. It's absolutely gorgeous, like Wedgwood blue actually. Right, okay, so now I've got my royal icing here in my handy tub. All I need to do, and I've got a damp tissue over the top, is I need to get this mixed up, because I noticed here when I was doing this side, my royal icing, I made this last night to stencil the blue cake next to me, it's a little bit aerated, so I need to knock out some of that air. So I'm going to grab myself my spatula. It is in the right consistency, however it's just a little bit airy because it's settled. So what would be good is to actually put this back in my mixer. However, all best plans and all that, considering I stenciled that like 10 minutes before we went live, because I wanted it fresh. I don't want it cracking as it's going on the cake. But it is so warm here. It's so warm in Scotland. I don't know what's going on. Maybe this is summer. Okay, so I can start to see that looks a little bit better. I'm actually paddling it off the side of the jar. Now if you've got a bigger bowl, you'll have an easier time. And it's like how white that is. It's gorgeous. Oops. Right, and as I say, remember it stains, so just get rid of all your little droppages, if that's even a word. Right, okay, let me just bring this over. Right. Oh, I can see something on my camera there. Right, here we go. Right, what did I do with the stencil? What did I do with the stencil? See if I have to open up one of my new ones. Right, okay, so I'm going to, right, so this design, on the cake here at the side here, I've actually overlapped it slightly. I wanted the stencil not, if you have that where you would normally have it, there'd be a big gap down the middle. Now you could use one of the side designs to do that. However, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to slightly overlap it, and I'm going to have something that looks so much nicer. And I'm also very aware, right, you need to be aware as well, do not put the royal icing over this side. We're going to have to stop on the bias, and that's going to allow us to have that side design without wrecking the rest of your thing, because this is just your elements, which you can use if you want to fill up gaps. There's little elements at the side here that you can put in the middle, completely up to you. Then the other thing I'm going to do is just pop that there to stop me making a mess. Okay, let's do this. Right, I'm just grabbing my scraper. Okay, so I'm just going to remember not to touch that. I'm going to hold this down and just get in there. Hopefully I've knocked out some of the air. It feels so light and fluffy today, which is good. Sometimes it's better to have your royal icing fresh on the day that you're needing it, because last night when I was using it, it was perfect consistency. So you can make smaller batches of royal icing, by the way. You can buy ready-made royal icing. Just make sure you add the whitener, because it's never white. So I'm just going to go ahead and just put all of this on so that I'm not scraping and scraping and scraping. I'm not freaking out either. I'm just taking my time, pretending we're not live. Right, okay, so because I don't want to go over this side, I'm going to start from there. I'm just going to bring that down. Okay, and scrape that into my jar. Again, just make sure that I'm not scraping this out. And I'm not, I've scraped a little extra bit there, which I'll go back and fix in a minute. So you need to keep your scraper like straight on. You can leave it thicker if you want, that's absolutely fine. If you're having bother, then by all means leave it thicker, because if you peel this off really, really gently, I'm going to leave the bottom thicker just so we can see what that looks like. But I need to go back now and just patch up a little bit that I've stupidly gouged out. Now, I would normally tell you don't go back over your work. However, if it's going to be obvious, and I'm just going really gently and I'm cleaning in between every scrape. Okay. Right, that's me. I'm now going to just gently take this off. I'll hold it here and just lift it towards me. And then take that off. There we go. That looks really good. Right, now I'm just going to move this to the side a little second. Move this away. And just clean this. Right, so I know how you're feeling. See, when I stencil in the house myself, sometimes the nerves are running high. However, it's even worse when you're trying to do it live. But I think on all basis, you can see here I've left it thicker, and the difference it's made, it's like chalk and cheese. So if you want a more like heavier pattern, just go heavier, scrape off less. If you want less, then you'll have to scrape it a little bit more. However, we need to let that dry, so I'm going to pop this to the side, and then we are going to do the top of our cake. So what I'll do is I'll just come back to the front. I'm just going to cover this up so that I can use it again. Damp tissue is just really all you need over the top just now. And then when I'm going to store this, I have the damp tissue, like I'll put cling film over first, but I'll make the cling film touch the royal icing. Then I'll put my damp tissue just sitting on top of the cling film, and then I'll put my lid on, wrap it about a million times and lots of cling film, and then it can go in the fridge. Once it's in the fridge, it'll last like a good few weeks. You'll notice it changing. So when some of these, like the Squash Kitchen is made with albumin, when that starts to break down and split, you see a more yellowy tone. It's time for it to go in the bin. Yeah. So I am not a fan of old royal icing. The smell reminds me of wet dog, which is never good. And I absolutely love making royal icing with meringue powder, because it doesn't have that smell. It just smells absolutely fine. Right, so I'm just going to grab some paste, and we are going to do the top of the cake. So when I say cake, dummy, because I'm not needing cake at this point in my life. So So cake's the furthest thing from my mind right now. So I'm just going to warm this up. And I've got a little bit of icing sugar on the table. I've also got some water because you can, well actually, I can use Trex to cover the cake, that'll be fine. It's just, see when you're working with dummy cakes and you want to add your icing, water will absorb straight in. So if you put the water on your dummy cake first and then go away and start rolling out your icing, taking forever, by the time you go back to your icing, all the water's evaporated, and when you put your icing over the top it doesn't stick. Same with Trex, it just kind of absorbs into the plastic. So what I do is I tend to roll out first, then add the Trex or the water like immediately before I'm going to use it on a dummy cake. However, if you're going straight onto ganache, when you put water or Trex in your ganache it just stays on the surface. It doesn't penetrate the cake, so which just means that you can do it the normal way. Okay, so I am going to roll this down nice and fine. So this is a kingpin, which I adore. One of my favourite tools. Not one to drop on your tootsies, it's never good. But I love it. I've got a sheeter as well, just because like my life's so much better with it. But I always roll out with the kingpin and my big normal roller as well. So I'm going to get this a little bit finer. I'll show you how much I've rolled it out. I think we've been graced with 0 air bubbles, which is great because I don't have my acupuncture needles on the table. They're at the other side of the room, so I will not be running over. Right, so what I'm going to do is, that's probably fine for the top of our cake anyhow. If I go, let me move that out of the way. If I go to the side, let's see if you can see that. So it's a little bit thicker than what I'd normally go, but we're going to be smoothing it down and it's going to end up going a little bit larger, and then we're going to trim it, okay? So let me just come back to the front. So I have my dummy cake here. I've got an acrylic disc. Oh, let me just grab my squares as well. Other end of the room right enough. Oh. Okay, so I always use these kind of squares to work on. It just means that I've got I can just spin things on the table. So these are just ganache boards, square. I think this is like 14 inch or 12 inch, 12 inch, which just makes my life easier. So I'm just going to get some Trex. So we are posh today. We are using good old Crisco, which I love. The same as Trex really, but this is the fancy American one because I haven't been out to the shops still. Okay, so I'm going to rub this in. I'm going to sort of wipe off my hands. Although if you touch the ice and you get Trex on it, it does absorb in. I'm just going to cover over my lovely stencil detail because I don't want that drying while we're working. Okay, bring this over. So I'm just going to lift this up. Best thing you can do for yourself is just put a little bit of icing sugar on there, just not a lot, just a little bit. This is going to stop it sticking. And then I'm just going to lift this over, because it's a dummy cake, straight onto the surface. In fact, I lie, what I was going to do is, what's going to make your life easier, that is what I would do actually, but what is going to make your life easier at home is actually use another disc. So I've got my disc here, so this is just slightly bigger than my dummy, so I just want to make things easy for you. If there's a hard way, I'll always do it. So I'm just using my sharp knife just to take that off. Oops. Right, I'm going to put this away. No point in wasting it. Right, okay, so I have my lovely disc. And now I'm going to grab that dummy cake. I've got the Trex on the top. You can either put Trex on here as well. Just going to turn this upside down. Okay, this dummy saw better days, but it is a dummy cake and it's absolutely fine. And obviously I put the rubbish side to the bottom. Bring this over. Now it's a case of just get rid of that fine dust of icing sugar. And then you can go ahead if you want and come in here and just slice it down round the side of that dummy. Although I find with dummies it's really tricky to do that, so what I'm going to do is actually turn it back upside the right way, and I'm going to use my knife just to go around and guided by the side of the dummy, so I'm not cutting in to the actual dummy itself. I'm just keep my knife really straight around the side and following the lip of the cake, so hopefully this will look okay. Okay, I'm just going down. I know you can't really see this bit, but you'll just have to imagine. Right, okay. So this has got a sort of thicker top on it. Thicker than I'd usually go, I'll be honest. Okay. Bring that round. That's perfect. I'm just going to buff it slightly. Once so I've made a little cut in here. This is the one which I originally started with, and I did this. That's why it stepped in there. However, when I put the panel on, I can just gently smooth those together just to get that out. I'm a bit of a perfectionist, but I think it does help, and this is going to help you save a few pennies or whatever you want to do, and go straight on to a ganache cake or straight on to a dummy cake. However, if I was doing a cake, for me personally, I quite like covering the cake first, because then I know that it's super strong. Right, I'm going to pop this aside. Okay, and we're going to slide over our top. Sorry, I've missed lots of questions. I do apologise. I will. If I've missed anything, I promise I will come back to you. So what's this one? So Tina says, Tina says she couldn't find any of the chocolate transfer acetate sheets in that size. Oh, I need to just double check there. We'll sort it out, don't worry. Right, okay, I'm just going to move this to the side. Right, if there is any questions missed, I promise I will answer them after it. Right, I'm just going to check. Right, so this is the bottom end here. This is the top. I actually want my cake to line up with the top. Okay, so again, I'm just going to do that little switch around so that the top is going to meet the top of my cake. So I'm going to turn that dummy upside down so that the blue disc is going to meet the edge of this, okay? And again, I can actually add tracks in the back of this, or use my hand to put tracks all over the cake, which is generally how I like to do it. I like to feel that it's covered. So I'm just going to quickly just turn that over and let's get some tracks on it. This is great for descaling your hands, by the way, on some lovely plastic. So you really need to make sure that whatever you put on here, whether it's tracks, whether it's water, top to bottom, no bit is ever missed. Otherwise, that just encourages air bubbles. So Timmy's asking, are the stencils available? Yes, they're online right now. Sharon says she's been waiting for this. Oh, amazing. Thank you. Saved your basket. That's a great function. Right, okay, so I have that all my hands. So I'm just going to grab a little bit of tissue. I'm going to get that wiped down. Right, okay, I'm going to come back to the front just so you can see what I'm going to do. Leave that there. Right, so I'm just going to so I've actually done this a little bit silly. What I need to do is I need to fix it up. So the bottom of my plastic is actually overhanging the base, which is going to be no use when I try and lift it up and round. So now what I need to do is I need to readjust the back sheet first to make sure that it is lining up the straight ends at the top, because I want the top detail. What I want is, like on this cake here, there's a little bit of a gap at the top here. I want that, rather than having a gap at the base, I want that to look like it's coming up with that nice little gentle break in it. So I now have that, thank goodness. Right, bring this back over. There we go. Right, let's take this off. So this back sheet has checks on it, which helps as well. But I think I'll just need to top it up because it feels a little bit drying. So actually, we've done it on the cake, and I can feel that it's going to move the pattern. So let's do this again. It's moved slightly again, let me see. don't know what I've done. Hang on. Ah, right, okay, it's fine. It's fine, it's just moved in the plastic. Just need to bump that over just slightly. And move that over here. And then this is where you take a little second and then hope that you don't mess it up. Okay, so I'm just going to lift this up and wrap round. I'm going to overlap it at the back. Right, so sometimes you'll get a little extra bit of material slipping down so it looks like a little lip. Just, if that's the case, lift it up. Okay, that looks good. I'm going to bring this round so you can see. So I've got this lovely doorway here. I'm going to take the plastic out the way. Here. And I'm just going to run my knife right down that. Okay, so my plan is just to run right through. Right, okay, I can see here that that needs to just go down a little bit. This is where it all goes wrong. Right, do you know how that's saying? Measure twice and cut once. That actually applies here. Right, okay, so now I'm going to run through both of these layers. There we go, it goes down. This one just comes out the way. And, whoops. I can't not cut in a straight line. And that should just really nicely bump up together. Okay, and you would have your smoother, unlike me. Oh, I do have a smoother. That was a surprise. So you would just give that little line a little buff over. What's actually better is the acetate smoothers for reducing the lines. I use like Barina's. I think you can get them from Cake Stuff as well. I'm just going to use the heat of my hand to get rid of that line slightly. Okay, but we're not here for the line. We're here to sort this out. Right, so now I need to make sure that this is right up against that Trex covered cake. Okay, I'm just going to press this in super gently. This means that I'm not likely to wreck my design. Okay, now I need to just trim it. So knife straight down onto the surface. Now if this is a cake, it would have a cake card on it, which is a great surface for cutting against. And I'm just going to, it's like a lightly moving action. It's not a big saw action. That saw action will result in a really rough base. This means that I don't really need to worry about ribbon. I'm not a big ribbon fan. Unlike our lovely Timmy in the group who has just bought a shed load of ribbon. I just like having clean lines and clean edges. That's kind of my style. But don't get me wrong, I do use ribbon. Okay, so there we go. I'm just going to bring this round to the front. So we've got another little bit of detail to do on this, which is going to involve a little bit of the wafer paper. Okay, so there we go. That is our beautiful panelled cake. Now, what I would do if I had in my possession or near to my hands a smoother, like the Barina smoother thing, so you can actually go with the smoother and top, hold that straight and just buff in that line a little bit. It's not that bad. Hang on, I will just see if I can fix it before I show you the above view. Okay, so if I go from above, it's not too bad. I would prefer to buff it in there, but in the grand scheme of things, if that's got another cake on top and you've got an arrangement of flowers going over your side, you will not even notice that. And it's a pretty clean job, to be honest. Which is not a pat on my back, by the way. It is stressful trying to do lives. Right, let me move this just to the side. So now, let me bring back my mat so I can show you. So I've got my lovely grey cutting mat. And I've got some wafer paper in front of me. So let's just go from above. Right, so this is how basically I added a little bit of detail to the stencil. Now, given that my other stencils coated in royal icing. I'm just going to show you with this full size one. So you only need like one sheet of wafer paper, and you need a pencil. And what I did was I just picked, like I'm not going to waste this whole sheet, so I'll go up to the corner here. I just picked some of the larger elements so that I could cut them out in wafer paper and stick them on. I did a couple of different sizes, so I'm just literally going around with the pencil, okay, taking out some of the larger shapes, because I'm going to use these to cut down a whole variety. So you just want some different shapes in there. I will get some smaller ones as well. Let's take this wee guy here. You could just free cut, whereas like I'm useless at free cutting, so never take my word for it. And I've got some wee fancy scissors that I'll use. Trim that down. It'd be better if I got some bigger scissors. Okay, so you'll get a lot out of this, okay? So just trim this down. And I realised I don't have a piping bag, so we're going to have to just dip this into royal icing. Deep joy. Okay, so you get as many cuts out of it as possible because you don't want to waste your wafer paper. Just makes it economical. Okay, right, so I'll just do a couple. So all I do is cut out roughly this one. Now I'm going to go with the small scissors first. So these have got a little bit of a curve on them. Okay, I'm just going to hold that with my hands and start to just trim them out. Oh, my OCD's kicking in, I just realised. We need that back where it belongs. Right, okay, so there we have, we've got a couple of little blossoms there, right? I'm just going to leave them there. I'll quickly do another one and then we'll get these stuck on. So by the time you trim them down, you lose a little bit of the sizing. They no longer are the size that you've drawn because you always cut over the line, so you end up with a lot less on there. Okay. I'm just pinching them all together. It doesn't matter if your wafer paper gets a wee bit old, that's absolutely fine. It does its job, right? And I'm just going to pop this away here. Right, and then I've got like a little petal pad and I've got my Dresden tool. So all I'm going to do is just draw down a line on there and give it a wee fold, and that's going to encourage it to stay in that shape. So let me just bring that in here. You're just looking for some sort of foam mat. The whitener gets everywhere, by the way, so wash your hands in between. But they're only going to get washed because I'm going to have to dip them into the royal icing in a second. Okay, so I'll just do a couple more and then we'll get these stuck on, and then you will see the effect that it has. It's just so sweet. So I need to basically finish off this big cake. Absolutely adore it. It just reminds me of a little bit like wintry, you know, like that frosty sort of morning. I actually nicked my flowers that I'm making next week in my night school. Dusty Millers, some little billy balls, what else have we got in there? Ferrin, and some dogwood roses. Oops. And at least it's inexpensive if you wreck one. It's all cool. Right, okay, so we've got some little cutouts there. So now what I'll do is I'll bring these round here. We'll bring back this cake and I will come from the side so you can see here. I think that's a good focal point there. Right, so now obviously I need to dig into some of this royal icing. I'll just put a little bit on my table here. Normally I would actually fill a piping bag, and I'd need to loosen it up because you wouldn't be able to pipe with this. It's too thick to pipe with, so you end up you'd have like broken lines and stuff like that. So this is not what I suggest you do. I'm just going to use my Dresden tool just to put a little bit of royal icing on the back. And let me see, where am I going to stick this one? Here. Oh, sugar. I'm not going to stick it anywhere because I just dropped it. Right, okay. I need to try and focus. Just there. Right, so what I'm going to do is actually, on the surface here, when I'm working, I'm going to put a disc on the top of the cake, and that's going to save me wrecking that gorgeous lip that I've just achieved. So again, a little bit of royal icing just in the back. I'm not using water because water will melt your wafer paper. You can use piping gel if you like, but I think with the white, it actually conceals the fact that it's been stuck down. I don't want to see any joins or anything like this, so the white's melding in really, really nice. Okay, a couple more. So I do this randomly. I'm not doing it to every single one because that would make life really tedious and repetitive and like 9 hours of your life that you'll never get back. However, just a few accents is just all you need. So I'm just going to go ahead, put that on there. And now the next thing you can do, if you've got an edible printer, is you can actually colour up or buy coloured wafer paper. Now, if you're going to try and match tones or bring out details, you will have to have a play with the different settings on your printer. I've matched up tons of wafer paper in the past, but it takes a little bit of time and effort. But this would look so nice on like a different cake, like a white cake with little green leaves, like really pale green coming up from the base and then going into a white ombre. So basically that is how we pimp that up. So I hope you've enjoyed that tutorial. If there are any questions, please do make sure you ask them. If I've missed them, I apologise sincerely. I will actually come back to you. I'm just going to have a wee look at some of the comments. I'm just going to scoot down to the bottom in case I have missed anything. So Brittany says, beautiful, thank you so much. Trina says, couldn't find you, but here now. You can go back, once this live's finished, just go back to the start, it takes about 5 minutes. Charlotte says, stunning, how such a simple addition gives such intricate detail. Absolutely. And also, the next thing to do is to add metallic detail, like really, really pale silver, which would look so nice on this cake because it's already got that wintry element and it's bringing in a little bit of the city silver effect. So I used, under the underside of this, it was Fake Hill Misty Blue, but then on top I've added like a tiny touch of silver that I had and a little bit of Galaxy White because I wanted to make it city silvery rather than blue. But sometimes some silvers are really, really heavy and I didn't want to wreck the cake. So I was erring on the side of caution. Leanne says, do you know how many dressing tools I've snapped doing that? I've actually treated myself to a metal one recently and I'm so pleased. But the plastic ones are great, but I have broke so many. So Gina says, do you use the same method for adding fondant if not using a stencil? No, I just do the all-in-one. I literally cover the whole thing top to bottom and that's it because like I've never had any bothers with that, and I use and I think that's down to actually my blend of fondant. So I use Couture by Cake Stuff mixed 50% with Massa Tropic. Now the Tropic part's really important because it's that gives it, it just basically gives you a lot longer to work with because it's made for more tropical environments. Even though we're in Scotland, it works super well. It's my favourite blend and I just do the all-in-one. No issues whatsoever with it. You get plenty of time to work with it and always get an amazing finish. Never any elephant skin or anything that some of the dreaded things come out. So Timmy says she only ribbons her boards. That's right. I didn't mean to have a go. I wasn't meaning that at all. I always add ribbon to my board. But I just love having a clean, crisp cut on the bottom of the cakes. Because sometimes ribbon just doesn't look right. So just my opinion. So Sue says, loving this stencil, what a beautiful colour, my favourite. Oh, thank you very much. Alison says, are the acetate sheets available? I'm pretty sure they are. We can double check with the lovely Cake Stuff. Elaine says, thank you so much for this tutorial. Oh, Alison says, loving this. Thank you so much. Diana says, is this fondant you use? Well, on this cake, this actually got a little bit of eleganza in it as well. Simply because it's a modelling paste, but it's really nice and it smells incredible. And simply because I need strength, like you saw how I lifted that up. When it's just with fondant, it can be a little bit teary. You can put your fingers through the edges. it stretches a little bit too easy for my liking, and especially when you've got a stencil pattern on there, you don't want that stretch, because if it stretches it's going to leave like it's just going to separate, like the crackle effect that you would get if you use like the crackle stuff, which I really don't want. So Tina says, I have the Sweetwise matte. I guess I could cut down. Yeah, absolutely. Use whatever you have. There we go. Let's see. Right, I think I've answered everything. If I have missed anything, please do let me know. Are there any tutorials you'd like to see from myself and the lovely Kerry? I don't actually have a date for Kerry coming on next. I forgot to ask. I'm so sorry, Kerry. If you know when you're coming on for your tutorial next week, if you pop a little comment in, and we'll get that announced. But yeah, so basically, this is for yous. Like, I did the panel method because it was requested to show how to do the top. So it's as simple as that. What do you want to see? Mabel says, stunning. Suzanne, this is stunning. Love it when you add the wafer. It just gives it that delicate design. Thank you for sharing. You're absolutely welcome, Mabel. Thank you so much for joining us. Marie says, thank you. Carol says, where did you buy the metal dresden tool? I can contact you after this. Basically, I'll need to go and look it up. Melanie says, eleganza is so difficult to roll. I don't have a machine. Right, what you can do and what I've done is I just pop it in the microwave for about 5 to 10 seconds, and it basically needs in super easy. Obviously, don't leave it in there for 5 minutes, otherwise you're going to get some sort of sugar burn. However, 5 to 10 seconds, just short blast on full power is enough to allow you to knead it, and it rolls out an absolute dream. You'll have no bother there at all. But remember, it's a modelling paste, so it's heavier, so you need to do something like that. And I often do that with fondant if I'm finding it's really, really hard or it's dead cold in here. Like usually in Scotland it is pretty cold, so in the winter that's basically what I do to just get things moving. And when I'm colouring up a big amount of paste, if you whap it in the microwave just for that little bit, it takes the colour really easily and it's less work on your hands and your wrist. I would never suggest you put that in, say, a mixer, because that'll be the death of your mixer. Okay, so remember, right guys, these stencils are up for purchase, and right now, if you're on my mailing list, you would have seen as well, and on Instagram, there's a competition running right now. So basically myself, Cake Stuff, Lissy Lou, Prop Options and Colour Mill have all got together to celebrate Lissy Lou reaching 15,000 followers on Instagram. So you can actually win these, and you can win lots of couture, and you can win like the whole range of colour mills, you can win stampers, you can win like acrylic boxes. Seriously, it's an amazing prize. So head over to all of our Instagrams. You have to like us all, because that really does help. Share the giveaway to your stories, and then you're going to be in the chance of winning that. And I think the end date's Sunday, so we will be reminding you periodically over the next couple of days. So good luck there, and I can't wait to see whoever gets these. Like literally, you're going to be one of the first to get them, is all I can say. Okay, so Susie has joined us and she said, have to watch it later. Pesky customers come in. Well, listen, it's all good. So Patsy says, can we see how to put flowers in a cake? That is actually a tutorial that I'll be doing, but not as a demonstration, because there's too much to it. But yeah, so that will be coming up soon, and I promise I will give you a shout out when that's happening. And then just to finally remind you, on Sunday I'm going live and I'm going to be teaching how to make this beautiful O'Hara rose. This would look absolutely gorgeous on the side of that cake. I'll need to figure out where I want it. I will pin this on later. That'll be gorgeous. But Sunday tutorial, standalone methods for how to do this O'Hara rose. So if you want to join us, just go over to like my Instagram page and you'll see the link in the bio. It's on my Facebook page as well, and I hope I'd maybe see some of you there as well. Okay, so that's us. So Julie says, yes, another competition, so generous. We love competitions. It's a great way to give back to everybody that's following and supporting all our businesses. It's just really, really lovely to see how you got on. So yeah, and Julie actually won my first stencil. She didn't know she'd won it, but she got it in a wee prize 2 weeks ago. It was the floral splash one. So Julie, we need to see your cake. That'll be absolutely amazing. Okay, thank you so much for joining us, and next week it's back to lovely Kerry, who will let you know what she's going to be doing in plenty of time next week so you can join. Take care, see you later, bye.